Say it with me, Chicago Bears fans. No, no, hell no. Say no to Garoppolo. We're back on this crap again, huh? Remember these discussions a few years ago. And as somebody reminded me on Twitter, I'm pretty sure that's at that time where I was talking about say no to Garoppolo. See, it even flows a little bit. You see how good that sounds? Say no to Garoppolo! Say no to Garoppolo! So of course, you're going to see reports and rumors and news about the Chicago Bears making calls to inquire about Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to see probably reports that a backup plan, if they're not players in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, could be Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll be the one to turn everything around. This walking fucking pile of mediocrity and injury list waiting to happen. He'll be the guy to bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Hallis Hall. I've seen some Bears fans, of course. One of these fan bases, like, it runs the extremes. You have some that are kind of moderate and in the middle. And you got those that are really ready, willing, and able to call it anything that doesn't even remotely make sense, like me. Negative, whatever you want to call it. I haven't always been negative about this team. Look at some of the videos in 2018. That's all I'll say. It hasn't been that long ago. Plenty before that, and plenty after. But then you got these fans that are sitting there talking about, bring Jimmy G to me! Give me Jimmy G! You realize that you're trying to find somebody to play quarterback in the National Football League, right? Right? You realize that you're not going to get to hook up with a big-titted porn star because Jimmy G comes to the Big C, right? You realize any delusions of championship aspirations that you have will be NFL not for long when you bring in Jimmy Garbage Pail, right? You realize you're much more likely to only get 4 or 6 games out of him than an entire season worth of starts out of Jimmy Glass, right? I mean, seriously. What's the appeal here? Let's be clear. The San Francisco 49ers, a season ago, went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. If any way, shape, or form they're considering a trade for a Matthew Stafford or doing something else at the quarterback position, and they're ready, willing, and able to move on from the guy that they already have, that should tell you a lot. An actual offensive mastermind, a great play caller, great schemer, great game planner, and Kyle Shanahan does not want Jimmy Garoppolo. So you want the Chicago Bears with arguably less weapons on offense, worse offensive line, worse head coach, worse general manager. You want them to take this guy on as if somehow a change of scenery is magically going to change everything with this dude. The hell are you smoking? Did you go to some freaking cannabis shop there in Illinois and light up a doobie? Smoke you a bong? Hit off the blunt? Like, what is it? What's the appeal here? You're talking about a dude that's missed more games over the past several years than he's actually played. I guess it even goes back to when he got that opportunity. I can't remember what season. Was that 2016? I can't remember what the hell it was. Either way. I think it was 2016. When Brady was suspended the first 4 games due to Deflategate. Remember Garoppolo was going to be the guy for those 4 starts? He didn't even make it through! 4 starts! Was it like the second game he got freaking hurt and then it was Jacoby Brissett time? The 49ers sit there and trade for him, bring him in. And yeah, the one healthy season he had, fully, truly healthy season that he played all the games, they made it to the Super Bowl. But let's be realistic here. You say, well, when you traded for him midway through the year, he played a few games, and that doesn't even count. It further proves the point. Like you're latching onto things. Like it's amazing to me. Team wins and losses don't really count as a quarterback stat, except when you want to count them for a quarterback stat because you try to make some type of weak-ass argument that this quarterback is actually really good. You'll get those sanctimonious idiots that'll sit there and say, what is it the name of the game to win games? And if the guy wins the games, doesn't that make him an effective quarterback? Fuck no! You can win games with guys. You can win games in spite of guys. Did you watch the 2006 Chicago Bears with Rex Grossman? And frankly, the year before, when Grossman, of course, was hurt, Kyle Orton. The Bears won games in spite of him. Sometimes with him, but certainly in spite of him. The Bears in 2006, their Super Bowl year. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl with Sexy Rexy. And more often than not, they were winning games in spite of him, not because of him. That doesn't make them effective NFL starting quarterbacks. So this whole notion of, well, the 49ers won a lot of games when he started. Well, who gives a shit? They could really run the ball. They were playing fantastic elite level defense. So your whole argument about wins and losses is bullshit. Even when healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo is a middle-of-the-pack NFL starting quarterback. I think he's got enough skills to be a starter, but he's the type of starter that you look at and you always want to replace because you think you could get better, because you can get better if you identify the right individual. If you're the Chicago Bears and you have any thoughts of going and getting Jimmy Garoppolo either via trading for him or even bringing him in off the waiver wire, stop! If you're going to do that, you might as well bring back Trubisky in 2021, and I'm dead fucking serious. If you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to solve any more problems than a Trubisky or Foles, then you might as well stay with the turds that you know versus the turd that you don't. What, you're going to put your hopes in Jimmy Garoppolo and then he goes down in the fourth game with a ruptured fallopian tube? Or in the seventh game with a slightly serrated vas deferens? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? At least with Trubisky, his yearly injury only typically cost him like 1 to 2 weeks. Garoppolo's are usually catastrophic. And not to mention the fact that there were certainly thoughts that guys like Mullins and Beathard might have been just as effective or ineffective, depending on your perspective, as Garoppolo was. So why the hell would you want him? Say no to Garoppolo! Say no to Garoppolo! This is not hard to figure out. He's injury prone, average arm talent, average mental feel and instincts for the game. When his team needed him in the Super Bowl to make a couple of plays, what did he do? Fail to do anything. When things are going well, you can hide him. You can coach around him. But you want to sit there and bring in a Jimmy G, and then maybe your team wins 10 or 11 games, and you sucker yourself into paying a clown like that $30+ million a year? You deserve all the misery that comes afterwards. Ask the 49ers organization how they feel about all the big money they paid to Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why the fuck they're trying to move on from him. If a team is looking to get rid of a guy like this to the point where they might potentially release him, that is all you need to know. In a quarterback desperate league like this, where you either have a quarterback or you don't. And if you have a quarterback, a real quarterback, you have a chance. And if you don't, you absolutely do not. This isn't the 80s or 90s with the game manager era any fucking more. You have to have quarterbacks that can make plays. You got to have quarterbacks that at times can be the reason that you win games. Not just the guys you win in spite of or with. These need to be guys that you win because of. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not a guy you're going to win because of. So stop trying to hit the freaking free agent market or the trade market to find your answer at the quarterback position when that in the vast majority of the cases, that is not how modern championship contenders are built. And before you a-holes bring up the Tom Brady thing with the Buccaneers, Tom Brady is the GOAT. Tom Brady is a unique situation. He's an all-time great, just like Peyton Manning was an all-time great when the Denver Broncos brought him in. Just like Drew Brees developed into being an all-time great. Those are exceptions to the rule. The overwhelming majority, year in and year out now, of teams that make the playoffs, consistently make it back to the playoffs, are the teams that draft and develop their own quarterbacks and build around them. If you're going to go and frickin' bring in a Jimmy Garoppolo, you might as well go knocking on the door of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Shit, he's better and more exciting and much more reliable and durable. So, for the Chicago Bears, Ryan Pace, the idiots in that front office, for Chicago Bears fans, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, say no to Garoppolo. Say no to Garoppolo. Say no to Garoppolo. Say no to Garoppolo.